By the request of Nada, who is apparently under the impression that he runs my channel or something, we got Uriah's Xilophanes deck profile. And yeah, he's got Atlanteans. But no mermaids, apparently. That is a mistake. Then again, given how much he freaking stomped the pavement with everyone's faces with Dark Magicians, yeah, he deserves a handicap.
In this particular case, I would have, and I'll get to the reason soon. But right before I went for my role, a certain powerful duelist by the name of Mario landed on a certain type known as dinosaurs. Now this was late in the choosings. There was more than half of the types already taken.
This is what happens when you don't register for classes ahead of time. I mean decks. Sorry.
I didn't want one of the strongest opponents to have one of the strongest potential decks. So I'm not projecting. That'd be ridiculous. So he would not have dinosaurs. So he's going to be a little mad about that when it comes to us dueling.
Father Mucker!
But that means I could not reroll from my deck, and I was given Sea Serpents. Now, Sea Serpents are not normally bad. In fact, we saw last season, Zoo happened to use Sea Serpents, and he had a pretty scary deck.
When?
I even conceived a few ways that would make that
Oh, wait, no, Zuzubab. I'm sorry, when we have Zodiacs and fucking Zuzubab, it's not exactly easy.
Seeing as how I undefeatedly won Season 1 of Fight Club with my Dark Magicians, we have decided to ban all of the top 4 archetypes from the Season 2 of Yugioh.
I'd like to imagine that Dark Magician by himself would be allowed, but odds are no one else.
And no mermaids. So
Jesus.
Zoo decided to ban mermaids rather than Atlanteans.
To be fair, the Atlanteans kind of need the mermaids,
and power of his
never
deck.
vice versa.
So I am stuck with a nerfed version of a losing deck.
Ouch.
Is how I like to put it. He got 4th place in total, and I have to use a weaker version.
Jeez, Mario came in 3rd.
In a season where pendulums are allowed, so the skill bar is set even higher. So I'm just gonna say my chances aren't.
So why were Atlanteans even allowed?
Won this season.
That's like putting Battling Boxers in there. Like, I love Battling Boxers, but I know they're utter crap nowadays.
I'm unhappy with what I came up with. So let's go into the deck itself for the Sea Serpents with no mermaids allowed. So starting off, the main attack monster of this deck is
the boss monster, for lack of a better term.
Just has 2,800 attack points, but he's really easy for me to summon.
Yeah, tribute 3 level 3 or lower water monsters.
Pretty easily, and he can just essentially use 3 tributes to be summoned from either my hand or the graveyard.
Yeah, special summon, but at that point, or I'd rather just tribute summon normally.
So Poseidra not only gets summoned to the field.
Here's an idea:
but he
Big
gets
Whale.
A bunch of my water monsters' effects. We'll talk
you can tribute that thing to
soon,
get 3 level 3 monsters in the field, and then just bring out that thing.
We have our Mooling Glacier. Now, Mooling Glacier is something I don't believe we saw in Zoo's deck last season because
he never had time to bring it out.
It's hard to summon. However,
you need exactly
with
5.
How, Atlanteans work. We have a lot of potential.
Surprise element sabers aren't in this. Then again, they're not legal yet.
These types of monsters
or rather, typically weren't
only when
released
at
the time of where this is taking place. I don't fucking know.
No more, no less.
It's like a time period
I have
sort of
to
thing.
get exactly 5 monsters, and then I can summon if I have both of these guys in my hand.
Good luck getting exactly 5. That's a little bit harder than you think.
That they take
Sometimes you just lose count
cards from their hand and just send them to the graveyard, which can normally slow down my opponent quite a bit. So those are just good power to have, and these are essentially the only bits of power I have in the deck. Aside from that, all we got is a bag of tricks. So next monster we have is
Silly Wabbit. Tricks are for Zelo.
We're going to talk about the, let's start by talking about the Deep Sea Diva.
Only
the
one.
Deep Sea Diva is a card that's limited to only having 1 in the TCG. In fact, I can switch this over to this.
Yeah.
There we go.
Bryonic would like a word.
But when I summon this card to the field, it'll let me summon another low-level monster. Now, there's 2 options I can do. I can summon a Trident here, which is a decent use of it. Or
I didn't know that thing had downgrade form, like its own baby dragon ruler.
Neptibus, I get to use Neptibus's effect.
Shouldn't there aren't more of those when it comes to boss monsters? Those would be really useful.
He can,
because, you know, main deck boss monsters are barely played anyway. Might as well give them some help.
To my hand. Pretty much any
maybe they'd be played,
so
who
I
knows.
have unlimited search power as long as I can.
Yeah, Neptibus is basically the ace.
Now, Neptibus has a bonus effect that if I use a water monster to send him to the grave, then he gets to special summon something.
I'm pretty sure it's a girl.
Much like a Monster Reborn. which is pretty
Then again,
nice.
with anime,
But
you
we'll show
can't
some of
tell.
those combos in a second. Now we have the other option, which
It's
we
kind
can
of a
bring
general
with the,
rule of thumb.
Deep Sea
Anime.
Diva,
It's not
is
confirmed unless the
Atlantean
characters
Trident.
confirm it
Now, Trident's a
themselves,
much more
you know,
simple card.
verbally. In which case, go
Trident
for
is
it.
essentially we put him on the field next to another one of our low-level sea serpent monsters. He tributes himself and that card, and we bring out a free Poseidra from the
And the
deck.
opponent's monsters get
Now,
weaker.
normally I like to use Poseidra as, from the hand or graveyard summoning effect because it's a little better, but this is also very good because it just brings it straight out from the deck.
Always
so that's
handy.
one less Poseidra I have to worry about getting to my hand. Anyway, another combo we can do with Neptibus is we send to the graveyard this little guy here, Atlantean Dragoons.
He's
Because
semi
when
for a
Atlantean
reason.
Dragoons is sent to the graveyard by a water monster, he gets to bring another card to your hand. So by activating the effect of Neptibus, we essentially get search power for 2 of our key cards. Now that could be Mooling Glacier. That could be the Call of the Atlanteans, which is probably my best card, and I'll get to that one soon.
Oh.
Or it could even be
I didn't
the
even
Deep
know
Sea
that
Diva.
they had a card that was
So
just like, yeah,
things
special limit
come
3,
very,
level 3s from the
very
graveyard. It's just
handy
like,
when
oh,
it comes
okay.
to using this card. That's how I set up myself.
Like, it's not as
Now,
busted
normally
as,
if you have
what is
Mermails
it,
in the deck, there's a
frickin'...
crazy combo you can do, but unfortunately,
Ugh, I always forget the
not
card's
going to happen
name.
for me, so it's really just used for setup.
The freaking one that's like,
Aside from
special limit
that
a bunch of
monster,
beast monsters
and,
from
the
your deck if you
combos I can
control
do
no
with him,
monsters.
we've
I
talked
use it in
about
Ragnarok
Trident. We have
3.
Atlantean Marksman,
Or the Dreki
which if
did.
this card attacks and does some life point damage,
Obedient
I get to
School,
summon
that
a
was it.
monster from, I believe it's the, from the, where's it from? I don't know the deck flawlessly yet, I'm sorry, from my deck. So I can attack with this guy and then bring another low-level sea serpent.
Yeah,
from
better
my
luck
deck.
with me. I
could be
like
Trident,
playing water
and then I could
monsters,
get
but
a,
there are some
Poseidon
water
right
monsters I just
out
don't
right
get.
after.
Mermaids,
That could
Atlanteans,
be a
they're
Neptibus,
one of
so I
them.
can get a little bit more cards into my hand. A lot of things
Give me
I
my
can do with
white
him.
aura
But
archetype
his
anytime.
better
Anyway,
effect
that's just
is
2
when I
main
send
deck
him to the grave
monsters,
by using
a
the
couple
water
spells
monster's
or
effect,
traps,
such as,
and
Trident or
a bunch of
Poseidon
extra
summoning
monsters.
capabilities. He lets me destroy 1 set card, so he's a good all-around card with 2 effects. Parallel to that is the Atlantean Heavy Infantry, and if I send him to the grave, I get to destroy a face-up card. So between those
Yeah, but if
two,
he's summoned to the field, you can just instantly
just to
summon
say
another
I can
monster,
send
which is
him
always
right
helpful.
to the grave with Neptibus as long as I get one of those on the field.
Summon infantry,
destroy
summon
any
diva, summon
Face-up or
another level 3
face-down
monster.
card on my enemies.
Synchro Shogun.
But it's only 1 card, so it's limited, but it's decent. It's good to have.
Yeah.
And then finally, to round off our monsters, we have the Atlantean Attack Squad, which is just some raw power. As long as I have another Sea Serpent on the field,
It can
which
act
I
like a solidarity
most
in a
of the time
sense.
do, he has 2,200 attack points. So this comes in very handy when I use Dragoon's other effect. If for some reason I can't use Neptibus' effect to send him to the grave and he is drawn into my hand, I can just summon him, and as long as he's on the field, all of my level 3 and lower monsters, such as all these guys,
Can attack directly.
Can attack directly, bypassing all of my opponent's
I don't think anyone ever.
defenses.
I don't think
So
I've
that
seen
can be good
anyone
in a
use
lot of
Dragoon's
situations
first
that I
effect, but
almost
it
consider
still has
basing
that
deck
first effect.
completely around this.
It's
But
like using
considering
Gores
my
to
search
reflect
power is
burn
mostly for
damage.
level
Everyone
3
forgets
and lower
about, but it can come in
monsters,
handy every
and
once in a while.
Dragoons has such a good effect.
Although require
aside
people to
from
play
that,
Gores. So.
I decided to go for, more traditional format, but potential is still there. Anyway, onto the spell and trap cards. Actually, let's hop over to the extra deck monsters.
Sure,
first.
why not?
So the main one we're
I
going
always
to be
forget
using,
about
in
them.
fact, it's probably the only one we're going to be using, is Bryonic. Now, in a recent update for the TCG, you're allowed to have 2 Bryonics in the deck. Now, unfortunately, Yugioh Pro has not updated to that.
Yeah, they have a
particular
bad
version
habit of
yet.
not doing that.
So I have these 2 guys in here right now, but, if I don't use them, I probably won't end up using 2 of them in a duel anyway, because I only have 1, 2.
Yeah.
But I have
Monster
another 2 in my side deck
Reborn.
in case I want to do some more stuff with that. Anyway, the basis
Surface.
of
There
Bryonic
are ways
is
to
when
get it
I
back.
bring this
You
one
got
to the
salvage.
field, I can send some cards from my hand to the graveyard.
It got
and
eroded.
then-
That's how it got to
which I
more
think
copies.
might activate their
It got
effect.
banned because it was scared
I'm
because
not
Konami was
entirely
scared of Mermails
This is
Atlanteans
weird, honestly.
abusing it,
I'll
but
have to
then
do
they
a
brought
little
it back
research
with
on
an
that.
errata. So
but I can send a bunch
plus
of cards
Mermails
back to my
Atlanteans are
opponent's hand.
weakened
Now, of course, they can
nowadays,
just
so it's
replay them
not
next
big a
time,
threat.
But if it's an XC monster on the field, they go bye-bye. And if
I have no idea why he's playing
see that my
Shark
opponent
Drake
has
and
a
not
very low
Shark
amount of
Drake
life points
Vice
left,
as
I can
well.
finish him off
Just
with
for the
memes.
memes.
So Bryonic is pretty useful, especially in a
Oh,
tight
well, at
spot.
least Shark Drake is
Then I
getting
have
used
Sea
from someone that
Dragon Lord,
isn't
which
Shark,
can
even though
get
Shark just
3,000 attack
abandons
points
it
if I
after
use certain
he
effects,
realizes
but
he's Nash.
honestly,
Oops,
I'd
spoiler
much rather
warning.
just get a Poseidra on the field because it has other good things going for it. And then
Desperate
we have
times call
a
for
bunch
desperate
of level
measures.
4.
I don't even
Sea
recognize
Serpent
those ones alive.
XCs, but
Tri
the
Edge
only level 4
Levia.
stuff we have is the
I've never seen that
Dragoons.
card before.
So Not necessarily worth bringing him out, but we have, just so you guys can see him, Shark Drake, which is actually never going to be summoned because it is 3 level 4s. Bit of an overload. But we have Bahamut Shark, which is usable in certain situations. Hope Woven Dragon Spider, which
good luck saying that.
Might be used most often, or Abyss Dweller might be used.
Decent, even though he has 1700 attack.
Nightmare Shark might be used. It's a lot.
Where's
of
Cat
names.
Shark?
Shark is actually with level 3 monsters, so I can see myself actually using this guy because I have a lot of level 3 monsters.
Yeah.
The only thing is I usually like activating.
Let's face it, everyone remembers Bahamut Shark because Bahamut Shark, this detach Street Toe.
Rather than just Xe summoning them, you know. But if I have like 2 of these,
thank you MR4 for fixing that. It's not gone, but it's weakened, so I'll take it.
Effects, and then we have Tri-Edge Levia.
Banish any monsters destroyed by battle with this card. Huh,
if
not
you guys
bad.
want to, pause the video and look at any of these guys' effects specifically, go for it. But they're very uncommon to use in this deck. Mainly, I just go for the Poseidra power. Anyway, spell and trap cards. We have ourselves 1 for 1. Essentially, the main use of this card is I send 1 card from my hand.
I'm sure we might see
Tri-Edge
Tri-Edge a bit more in duels, so I can read the effects more fully as it happens.
And I
still,
can bring
banishing a monster this thing destroys by battle, but it's only got, what, like 1500 attack? What's it killing?
So very handy. And that doesn't even use my summon, so I can just
use 1 for 1 is limited for a reason.
Bring an Neptibus to the field, and then
it's a pretty powerful, it's a surprisingly powerful card.
And then I can go ahead and Neptibus secondary effect the Poseidra I sent to the graveyard back to the field, and I'll have 2 Poseidras right just like that. It's a good combo if I have the right cards. We have a Raigeki because it's normal.
Raigeki.
Greed for draw power because I have all water monsters.
I have
we have Surface, which is kind of like a weaker version of a card you'll see later. So I only have one of it.
I played Moray of Greed, put 2 water monsters back in the deck, reshuffle, draw 3 cards. Moray of Greed and the 2 water monsters are just put back. It's like, the fuck? I mean, I run 3 copies of each of the cards, so just like, this isn't impossible, but it's like, how?
Have some dead turns with this deck. Twin Twisters, especially running 2 of these because I don't mind sending certain cards to the graveyard, once again, such as Poseidra. And then we get to the best card, Call of the Atlanteans. Now, Call of the Atlanteans is good because, once again, I can Neptibus search power this.
It's got a bit of a risk, though.
And I can activate it, bringing 3 monsters from my graveyard.
But you can't bring out Poseidra as the boss monster because it also says the last line of text, you cannot special summon any other monsters the turn you activate this card. And it's not even except Sea Serpent / water monsters or anything like that.
From my hand or graveyard.
No, you can't.
So that's a very quick way
unless you activate them like during the end phase and then you activate this card, then your turn happens, then that's fine, but otherwise, no.
And I make my opponent lose a lot of attack points. So that's pretty nice as well. Not only that, when I use that effect and send Neptibus to the graveyard, I get to special summon another monster from the graveyard. So, same thing, double Poseidra combo.
The Atlanteans won't be utter crap, they'll just be really weak.
On the field as well, and he gets sent to the
But you know what, this sounds decent. Like, it's like when you're deck building, you're like, huh, this sounds better than I thought. And then you do it, and just like, no, this was crap. It just felt good when I was doing it.
And Call of the Atlanteans just makes these so easy to use. I have 3 of these.
Yeah, but you can't special summon the turn you activate it. At
Next
all.
up, we got our trap cards here.
It's not even the last line.
Water Hazard, which lets me do a little extra special summoning if I don't have any other monsters. Good little safety card. Not the best card in the deck. You might see me side deck this every now and then.
I can't blame you for putting 1 in. It's just one of those things.
We have Bottomless Trap Hole because, well, it's good. We have
it's good. No one plays
because, well, they're good. We have Torrential Tribute because, 1, it's good, 2, because I like the theming of it with a water deck.
It does fit
that
with the
roleplay
water
part of me
types.
Still leaking in here a little bit. But
can't blame you.
Torrential Tribute's normally
but
a
where's
risky
Time
card,
Wizard?
No,
you
to the
wouldn't
graveyard is not necessarily a bad thing. If I have some monsters on the field and I send them to the graveyard, I'm just setting myself up for a Call of the Atlanteans. Or setting myself up for a Moonling Glacier summon. So I'm okay with sending monsters of my own to the graveyard if I have to.
Makes sense.
Then we got Breakthrough Skill to stop opponents' effects, and Solemns to stop effects and special summoning.
I'd say why not Skill Drain,
so
but then your shit would be
just
wrecked.
to stop my opponent from doing their plays.
You are not allowed to play Yu-Gi-Oh!
Oriented around me doing my plays. It's not nearly as good as the Dark Magician deck we had last
well,
season.
no,
and
because compared to
said,
that, this I can't believe I'm saying this, but Dark Magicians were busted.
Myself, but
every Dark Magician player must have fucking adored that scene. They're just like, yes! Reasons for my existence.
If anyone of you know pendulums, they're not.
I know I don't hate them in Dark Magician archetype or anything, but it's just like Yeah, compared to like the
Going
Blue
through
Eyes
side deck
support,
afterwards,
just
we
like
got
this is
this
fucking
Ice
blown out of
Mistress.
the water.
Not really.
Well, not as bad
super
as the Red Eye
useful
support.
in,
I like the Red Eye
what I'm
support,
expecting
but
to go up against, but
it's clear that
it
they're
does
the
act as
weaker of
another
the
tuner.
three. You
We
know,
have Soul Charge because
I'm
it
not
sounds
knocking
good, it's
any
just,
of the
I don't know, I
decks.
haven't decided
Just
to use
that's
it
just
yet.
my personal
Swords
opinion
of
on the
Revealing
matter.
Light is a really good combo if I have to go for the attacking directly system. Book of Moon's extremely versatile card. Pot of Acquisitiveness if I go up against an opponent that is going to banish my cards, that means I can get them back.
Yep.
My body is a shield. If my opponent's running like triple solemns and trying to kill me, this can actually counter solemn.
Can this thing counter a solemn? I don't think so, considering...
Solidarity if I just need like a little attack boost. I'm hesitant to put this card in right away because
but
I don't necessarily need to rely on more attack points because 2,800 is usually enough.
Usually.
But for example, if I was going up against like a Blue Eyes deck, not that there is one in the season.
Spoiler zeal, oh god.
3,000, it'll be like, okay, maybe I'll throw this in here.
What, is there an Odd Eyes deck this season? You said Pendulums.
We have Mind Crush in case, for example, I was going up against the Dark Magician deck. I can
Hey Jace, did you get this? I gave it to you for Christmas.
Hand and deck go bye-bye, which means that deck is rendered useless.
I'm not lying about that either. For Christmas, I got Jason. I sent Jason Mind Crushing in the mail. It's like, play it, motherfucker.
So I can counter stuff, such as like this is a good Zodiac.
That's the last time I'm gonna bring up Mind Crush for a long time. Just I want to do it one last time to end 2018.
Skill drain,
and I guess in this case, begin 2019.
That stuff. Anyway, I think we can go into one little test of this deck so we can see what it's capable of. Let's fight some Dark Magicians.
Oh look,
Keep in mind, AI is
it just ends with him being triple dark magic attack. Just cut right to that.
So it's fine. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'm not trying to prove this deck is good. I'm just trying to prove that
that deck is bad.
Does things. All right. So this
I'm not saying,
deck is going ahead, getting itself.
I'm not saying this deck is good. I'm saying that deck is bad.
It actually might be doing rather well.
Fuck.
Here. So we're gonna go for a nice cheeky little Twin Twisters. Now I think if that's a navigation, it's going to activate it anyway. But let's see what I can send to the
Get rid of salvage. It's too early for that.
Useful in a first hand, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that.
You don't want to open salvage. You want to save that for later.
There, and get rid of these.
It's not a guardian of the deck, but it is kind of annoying to see early game.
Okay, it was just a Allure of Darkness. He was baiting me.
Bait.
Totally baiting me. But this is actually really
Is
bad.
bait even as effective nowadays, considering... Oh, I was baiting you, but just like, yeah, but MST isn't a thing much anymore.
We'll be able to bring those out.
It's like, yeah, I baited your MST, but everyone's playing Twin Twisters, so it's not much of a bait.
Much less reliable than last season. So,
yeah.
What do we got now?
Deep Sea Diva, not bad.
Deep Sea Diva. This is probably the best thing I could have drawn.
So Rank up Magic, the 7th one.
Diva and activate its effect.
Palladium Oracle Mahad. Fucking cheater.
We're going to go for the Neptibus combo here because we have no cards in our hand.
Oh, yes you do. What are those two things right there?
I'm in defense mode, but I don't care. We're going to activate his effect, send Dragoons to the graveyard. Sending Dragoons to the graveyard, we're going to get to bring 2 monsters to our hand.
Nice.
Now, since we're so limited right now, actually, since we're bringing some monsters to the graveyard, another call, the Atlanteans wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. But to my hand,
I'd go for Poisandra if I were you.
Monster in case things go wrong.
By the way, if I mispronounce Poisandra's name,
and for the
bite
other
me.
cards, since we're activating Dragoons here, I think we're going to try to bring out the Mooling Glacier.
A Poseidra. I'm saying Poisandra because that's the name of... Because in Power Rangers Dino Charge and to an extent in fucking Ninja Steel, Poisandra was one of the characters' names, so that's like Poisandra and Poisidra. It's just like, ah!
I already have 2 monsters on the field. If only I had more monsters in my hand, Water Hazard would have been useful. It's okay. We currently have one water monster in our graveyard, so let's see what we can do. I probably should have gotten another Neptibus, but don't worry about it. I'm bad. So he's going to attack, kill our Neptibus, and end that. Now, Deep Sea Diva, unfortunately, does not have any major purpose here, so we're going to go ahead and put it into defense mode and summon
No, you can't Synchro Summon.
That's not necessarily good. We're going to have to activate Surface here.
Bring back Neptibus.
Because we need you, buddy. We need you. Now we're about to do a combo here.
Theoretically.
We're going to start by... Actually, no. We're going to start by sending Atlantean Drake. Oh, I want to send the Poseidra to the graveyard, but I need another card in my hand. Darn it.
Send the Atlantean attack squad?
Maybe. We're going to send Poseidra to the grave, because I want to show you guys that play. And then to my hand, I can go ahead and grab... What do we want here? Another Poseidra. That sounds good. Alright, now what do we got in here?
You could summon Marksman and go into a Synchro.
And a Twin Twisters. So, what we're going to do is go ahead and activate twin twisters, and wait, so we got 2 in here, right? Okay, so before we do anything stupid, we are going to normal summon. No, that would still not work. I'm trying to do the math so we can get Mullen Glacier out here. Sometimes it can be a little tricky. But let's go ahead and summon our Atlantean Marksman.
If you synchro summon, that'll go to 5.
There we go. Not gonna solemn myself here. Now I could Brionic right now, I believe. Yeah, but this is not the time to use it. So what we
I thought the
Gishtian
thing was a level 7
this guy.
Oh, I didn't only now notice he had 14 cards in the extra deck. I guess because Yugioh Pro didn't let him.
He's gonna solemn me, which is bad. But we
Yugioh Pro
happen to
didn't
get
let him play 2 Brionics.
We can get at least 1 Poseidra out here, so let's do that. And I can destroy one of their face downs. So
Magician's Rod.
Twin twisted first. Oh well.
Live and learn.
But they got a
5,000 knives.
Back to their hand. We did that.
High Poison.
We got a Poseidra on the field. Unfortunately, that didn't go quite as planned, but fortunately...
Fuck it, I'm calling him Poisendra, and if I call him Poisendra, you can all bite me.
Exactly 5 monsters in the graveyard, so it did matter.
And guess what Mullen Glacier can do? Delinquent Duo!
2 of the cards in his hand. Bye-bye. Another random, but that's a Dark Magician in the grave. Not always the best situation,
not quite Delinquent Duo, considering your opponent gets to choose both, but you get the idea.
I could, well, I couldn't.
You can't Twin Twister, you need another card.
Let's go ahead and attack, and we almost have him defeated. So there we go. Let's see what else.
Exodia. Just what I needed.
Yeah, that's not going to be much use to it. Oh, actually, if that's Magician in the hand, could be, but we're going to find out.
Fuck.
So it is a Magician in the hand. Lovely.
Now they say a Magician in the hand is worth 2 in the.
You know,
we
don't want
2 in the hand.
Wait. The field. We don't want that dark magic.
A Magician in the bush is worth 2 in the hand.
So what we are going to do is Call of the Atlanteans, which will let us bring.
I'm not good with
back
expressions.
onto the field. There we go.
Marksman.
There we got that.
You, Nephthibus, and my diva.
Now, since it is a time where we have so few left there, we could go ahead and bring up Brown. Could we bring up Brown? We should be able to. Why can't we? I don't know. I'm dumb. Anyway, what we can
hopefully in the first duel you realize this.
Why can I not special summon?
It's because you have to control. It's because that card can only be
go
activated when you have no monsters. I mean, no. Wait, no. Yeah, no monsters in your hand.
Circle. It was another bluff. So we can go ahead and attack.
GG, computer.
And that'll end that duel. Since Dark Magicians are really bad with the AI, let's try one more.
Pity duel to the AI. Blue Eyes.
Shoot today. This is slightly.
Oh, nuts!
Uh-oh. It's doing things. It's doing things.
Now the computer has plays to make.
Oh no. Alternative coming out.
This is almost as bad as the AI is always one of those whole finicky scenarios.
So
just like
it's
up there with the freaking Duel Links. He's freaking autoplay. Just like you make this godlike divine deck, then you hit auto duel and see the computer utterly shit themselves because they have no idea how to do it. And you want to do it yourself, but you don't want to waste your time dueling. That takes effort.
Might as well throw it out as a bait because
it's so goddamn slow.
We just want to try to keep as many of these cards as possible. Now we're going to use our Quaking Mirror Force because we want to stop all that from happening.
Meanwhile, Chaos Max is like, Quaking what, motherfucker?
Ooh, darn it.
Nothing to it but to do it.
So let's send these 2.
And a duel once right played fucking Allure of Darkness.
Yes, it was completely...
No, trading. Discarded my level 8 monster, and then they're like, yeah, no, go sir. Just like, go fuck yourself. It's like, that was the last card in my hand.
Let's see what's
I started a grinder golem and just like, okay, so I either go to a link and possibly win the. It's either I go into a link and just try to survive, or I trade it and just hope to draw something Destiny draw style. I decided the Destiny's draw style, and I suffered the consequences. At the same time, it's like, go fuck yourself. Let me have my hope moment.
And he will let us grab what
I can't blame him for playing Yu-Gi-Oh, right? But at the same time, it's like,
just because I'm not quite as set up as I'd like to be yet. We'll grab a Mullen Glacier next turn.
Sorry, Zelo, no more summoning.
For now, and we might even get to keep Nephthibus alive, seeing as we got a Quaking Mirror Force right here. Thing about Blue Eyes is they can just sacrifice, or just pull out another.
Alternative.
Yeah, that's cool, I guess.
Wait, what happened?
Fine. Oh, geez.
He tribute summoned a Blue Eyes White Dragon, then went to a direct attack.
Mirror Force. Well, let's make sure he does. Oh, no, that works on him. Cool. That's why I have Quaking Mirror Force.
Yeah, that's
All right,
why.
Sweet, we got another Call of the Atlanteans. Now, what is currently in our graveyard?
Everything.
Just 2 water monsters. So what I can
Everything
do
and
is
the kitchen
now
sink.
Activate
Nothing.
this.
Max C.
They're gonna do a little bit of Maxine. I don't care. I
Do you
don't
accept the
care. I wanna
Max
show
C
off this
challenge? Yes.
stuff. So we can pull out our Deep Sea Diva.
Sadly, you can't activate the
normal
effect.
summon our Trident. And
I
get
hate when this
you
happens.
Out here. Activate our... Deep Sea Diva's only when I normal summon it.
Whoops.
I'm dumb. I did that in the wrong order. Oh, well.
We all make
Wow, this
mistakes.
is showing how bad at my own deck I am. Learning. But at least I'm willing to admit
Okay,
it.
so the Sea
What we
Dragon
can
thing is
do
a
is
level 5.
unfortunately
I'm
not
still
use
learning
Deep Sea
about all
Diva's
this stuff.
effect. Activate that to bring out Poseidon from the deck.
Because I don't want to use the one in my hand.
Not the worst thing. So
He doesn't get as
what
many
we're going
cards,
to
but he
do
gets back as
now
many as he paid
is,
for.
I
Because he
don't
discarded
really
one card with
have
Max C,
cards
got a
in hand at the
replacement.
moment, and I don't have enough to do any Call of the Atlanteans nonsense at the moment. But we will go for an attack.
Sorry,
and
paranoid.
destroy your face down dude thingy.
I wonder who it could
I
be.
don't like him.
What a surprise.
Alright. We did send a bunch of blue eyes to the grave, which isn't ideal, but you know.
Yeah.
Tis what it is.
Hey, at least we got rid of Hope
Looks like
Harbinger.
they
That's a
did
good
not
thing.
have any moves. I'm surprised. Okay, what we
That's
can
the thing
do
with Blue Eyes,
now
you are
is
running a
drop
bunch
our
of level
Call
8
the Atlanteans
monsters.
At the end of their turn. Bring these
And one of
guys
those cards
back
is
out,
Chaos
and
Form,
now
so-
we'll be able to use some effects.
No, you won't.
Brilliant.
Okay, now it's your
Alright.
turn. You can
And we
special
got
summon.
Atlantean Dragoons. Now, we didn't want to get him in the hand, but I guess I might as well show off one of the other things this deck can do.
Synchro
actually, we don't
Shogun!
have any attacking monsters besides Neptibus here. Trident could, but nah. What we're going to do is activate Atlantean
Neptibus.
Prince, and this is going to be pretty nice because we have the. Actually, no, we just emptied our graveyard. We're dumb. It's okay. We are going to send the cards.
The
to
intelligence of a
graveyard known
cucumber.
as- currently, we don't have any of the Dragoons to send, so we're just going to send a Poseidra to the grave. And that actually begs the question: what do I want to use this effect?
Oh, I can't
I think I know
say
what
I've
we're
never
gonna
made
do.
mistakes.
And
Like,
to
I
our
just make a
hand,
bunch of
we are
combo
going to,
plays
of
trying to go into a
course,
big move, and then you
Get
just
ourselves
realize,
another one of
oh, I
these, 'cause Call of the
miscounted.
Atlanteans is so good.
It's like, made a
Now,
severe
what we can do
miscalculation.
is activate this effect to send these 3 monsters to the grave. However, I want to use the one from my
Shame you
hand.
don't run a rank
I'll
7.
see 3
Just
Poseidons on
one,
the
you
field
know?
next turn.
I mean,
So we're gonna do that.
you got a bunch of cards.
Get
You
Deep
have
Sea
2
Diva,
Shark Drakes, and you're
Neptibus,
going to
and
admit that you're
Trident
not going to
out
go
of
into it,
here.
and fuck.
darn it. Well, then we'll only see 1 more out.
No
here, 'cause
fun
Neptibus's
allowed.
effect still goes off. And now I just got another dude in the graveyard. It's fine.
Fuck was the point?
Might as well summon this guy, because why not? Might as well salvage, because why not? Get these 2 back, because I want to activate Deep Sea Diva. And
You've
we'll
thrown
set
a
this
Mother
card on the
Grizzly.
field
It's
once again.
surprisingly
Let's
useful.
try destroying some things, shall we? That's probably a white stone. Yep, it is.
It's not as useful as it was
And
back
we'll
then, but
we know what that is.
surprisingly
Oh,
decent.
too late. Can't go back now.
Stupid Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro.
And attack that as well. And
And
now
this is
let's
why
go
Dawn of a New
ahead.
Era is better, because you can actually take back moves. It's one thing I
And
can't
let's
say about the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro. Just like,
get
why
the blue
can't
eyes
I
to the
make
field,
a
which is pretty
move?
good.
Why can't
Gonna be
I
able to kill something
back
behind.
out of the move?
Ooh. Uh-oh, bad things are happening. Not good, not good. Okay,
I misplayed,
now-
I admit it. Now, can you let me go back
This
and
is
try
fine.
again? No.
Fine, don't worry about me. Don't worry about me. What we're gonna do now... Ooh, we're in good shape. Now we'll normal summon Deep Sea Diva, activate its effect.
Correctly.
Go ahead and special summon
Heavy
monster,
infantry.
Yeah. Neptibus sounds great.
How are you?
Activate ourselves a Neptibus. Go for it. And it looks like we might have enough attack points here to do a Brionic play, which is pretty exciting.
You have enough cards in hand.
So let's go ahead and send...
Look, he's got
We barely have enough attack points to
he's
do a
got 3
Brionic
monsters
play.
in hand. The AI has
If we
3
do, but we're
monsters
gonna try
on
it anyways, just so
3
you guys
cards
can
on
see.
field.
And we are going
It
to
is
send
exactly
to the
enough.
graveyard. How about...
Heavy
well,
infantry.
there's not much left here, so let's go ahead and make it a heavy infantry. You haven't seen that yet. And to the hand, there's not
Atlantean
really much
attack
left
squad.
for
We haven't seen
until
him
we
yet
bring
either.
Trident, because then I could potentially get another Poseidon. Well, I don't
Ever
have
make a
Poseidon,
play where you're
so
just
that's
like,
pointless,
I'm winning
don't
anyway,
worry.
I haven't seen you before.
I,
Come on
think
out,
it was
buddy.
A little weak late game, safe to say. So we now have that, and we actually have Dragoons on the field, so we can do an efficient
You just like kind of mentally justify having in your deck. But like, no, I totally use it. See?
And I now get to see if sending an Neptibus from the hand will activate the...
Doubt it. Might miss timing, but one way to
Let's
find
do
out.
that.
Yes.
It does. That's lovely, lovely.
Lovely,
So that
lovely,
means we get to
lovely.
bring out Poseidra. We can
And
also
we win the duel.
go ahead and activate a surface.
Overextending.
And bring out Trident.
Bet now he's wishing. Bet now the
And
AI's
if I
like,
had
why
enough
couldn't I
Poseidon
activate
in my deck
Max
instead of
C?
the graveyard,
Why did I
do that
activate
on
Max C
Neptibus
back then
and get another
instead of
2
now?
monsters out. But, you know, I think we're in a good enough
We
position
win
right
regardless.
now. We're going to be okay. So, as you can see, there's some sick
I
combos
activate
that can be dealt with
Confusion
this deck.
Chafee from the
I've misplayed
hand.
quite a bit, but hopefully I won't when it comes to the actual
And
duels.
everyone in the audience is like, what's Confusion
yeah,
Chafee?
Hope to see you guys
Who looks
next
it up
time
online?
for the next week of Yu-Gi-Oh! Fight Club. Remember, always talk about Fight Club.
See ya.